Drake just previewed the song that could end his career. And at 3 a.m., he had no idea he was creating hip-hop's biggest meme instead of its next hit. We have now officially gotten a preview, as he played a brand new song that he seems to be preparing to drop as part of the Iceman rollout. Before we go any further, this is a song that, if it fails, could mark the end for Drake. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe so everyone can see just how bad things are getting for him. Right now, in the middle of the night, around 3 a.m. in Toronto, Drake showed that he was either working on some music or, at the very least, trying to record himself looking cool while listening to it. However, while he was trying to look cool and hype something up, what he may have thought was going to be rap's next viral snippet, he actually created what might become rap's next all-time meme. Seriously, just look at it. With all the tension around his name, all the pressure on him, and the shrinking timetable for Drake to actually drop Iceman and make any kind of impact or impression, you would think he might do the one thing people have actually asked him to do, rap and look normal. But no, he didn't do that. Instead, he just looks ridiculous on camera, doing whatever you want to call this. And on top of that, the song he's using makes Doghouse look like Doggy Style. Which one looks like the Carter? What did I miss, Illmatic? Seriously, when you hear Drake playing this new record, you have to wonder, what did they do to this guy? He is seriously messed up. For those who haven't heard the song, and even though it's only 21 seconds long, I would honestly recommend not listening to it. If you don't want to put yourself through that, I completely understand. At this point between Doghouse, which won, and now what we're hearing here, Drake is genuinely abandoning rap. He's not even chasing a bag that's remotely catchy or anywhere near something like Nokia, which at least gave him some momentum. What we're hearing now is a terrible, warped, garage band-style demo production. The instrumental alone is headache-inducing, and on top of that, it sounds like Drake doing an impression of Yeat doing an impression of Drake from the Views era. And if that makes sense to any of you, then you know it's not a good thing. Especially considering the moment Drake is in right now. It really makes you question the urgency or lack of it and the severity of a situation on every level, as well as what all of this could mean for the future of his career. Because honestly, this song just sounds bad. It doesn't fit the moment at all. Everyone is asking for fire and all he's delivering is ice, but not in a cool way, not in a Mr. Freeze type of way like he's trying to suggest. I'm talking about ice cold, and all he's doing is missing. Hearing this from Drake genuinely makes you wonder whether he's trolling, or there's some elaborate plan he's trying to pull off to deceive everyone. Honestly, with a combination of how bad the music is and how clearly unaware Drake seems to be of just how terrible it is, that almost feels like the only possible explanation. Because if Drake is really sitting here, playing this garbage, and actually believes this is going to be the song that breaks his streak of L's, the one that saved his career, the one that makes people care about Iceman and the name Drake in 2025. I don't know, man. We are in more trouble than we ever expected to be in. There is just no way that Drake doing an impression of Yeat doing an impression of Drake is going to be the thing that saves his career or gives him any real momentum. When you look at this snippet Drake has teased, seemingly showing that this is going to be the next single on the Iceman project or part of the Iceman record as a whole, the only way I can really describe it is that it's like Drake doing a bad impression of The Weeknd, doing an impression for Drake to then copy from, which is basically what happened in the Take Care era. And even just talking about it like that, you can read the room. Aside from grown men cheerleading door dashers like DJ Akademiks, nobody is really feeling this song. With the way Drake is moving and how he's presenting this cringe snippet, the complete opposite of iconic, you have to wonder, who is going to tell him? Ultimately, all of this is doing nothing but plummeting his value even further. As we discussed yesterday, Drake is now at the point where time is ticking. He has to make a decision. He needs to figure out how to take control of this Iceman rollout again and do something that could save his music career on any level. But somehow, after hearing this snippet, I honestly have even less faith in Drake than I did yesterday. And I stand on that. When you really hear this record, with Drake trying to do an impression of Yeat doing an impression of himself, it feels like he's just trying to recreate the magic that The Weeknd once created for him. I also mentioned in my last video that DJ Akademiks has pretty much all but confirmed Drake won't be working with any other artists or featuring anyone else on the Iceman album. That means it's going to be the first album of Drake's career where it's just him, with all of this context, especially heading into 2025. Drake is taking a massive risk, and honestly, it's one of the most foolish decisions of his career. If this song is any indication of what's to come, it's showing us that this project is really going to be a disaster, and it's going to bottom out faster than anybody could have expected. The reason I say this is because of a pattern we've seen across all of Drake's recent records, whether for All the Dogs, Certified Lover Boy, Honestly, Nevermind to an Extent, or even Her Loss. The clear driving factor behind all of these albums, and the only thing that gave the projects any sort of character for the hypebeast fans who kept getting more immature and weirder alongside Drake, comes down to one thing. Drake has been able to age in reverse by copying the styles of other artists who tend to be younger than him. Seriously, with every single recent Drake album, you can pinpoint the exact songs and styles he's biting from on nearly every track. This is especially evident in the big-name collaborations we saw on projects like Her Loss over All the Dogs, where Drake was clearly copying artists like Lil Yachty and Cash Cobain. Overall, if Drake isn't going to be in the studio with these people directly stealing their style, then this song he's previewing from whatever Iceman is going to turn out to be shows us exactly what Drake is doing creatively for this project. And clearly, based on what we can see so far, he's not diving deeper into himself or trying to make his best music. He's not exploring every possible route as a writer. Well, I guess he's not a writer, so he can't do that. But he's not even pushing himself creatively to make the most compelling project possible. Instead of looking inward in any way, he's just thinking about what artists he can impersonate to recreate a feeling from something on his old albums that people loved. Feelings that came from other artists in the first place. When you see the position Drake has put himself in, and now watch him seemingly dig and approve one of the pettiest and most arrogant points he'll definitely regret down the line, you start to see the problem with artists who don't actually write their own raps or have their own creative flair. Ultimately, when they get to this point where they need to come up with ideas by themselves, or they're trying to hold out on working with the rest of the industry to prove whatever point they're trying to make right now, well, for Drake, you just see that he has absolutely nothing left. He really has nothing to contribute to this space. To be honest, when you look at the producers Drake is working with, which features names like Gordo, and you see that the actually important people from Drake's career are currently missing and nowhere near the Iceman record, you start to understand why the music hasn't been very good and why Drake really can't find any sort of momentum. Aside from relying on so many other great artists over the years who don't want anything to do with him anymore, Drake has also lost the most important person he's ever had for getting anything close to an original sound and really developing any sort of identity. And who I'm referring to is none other than the one and only OVO 40. With his presence missing, even the Drake stans are starting to realize that this is one of the reasons why Drake is failing. DJ Akademiks noticed this as well when talking about why things for Drake are missing. He said this, and I'm showing you this to prove it's not just me saying it now, but the Drake fans are saying it too. I want to say I do feel like Drake's music sounds a little bit different, and I honestly believe the difference is 40. And maybe I'm just completely off base. Drake fans, tell me if I am. But there are certain things that were very profound about Drake's music. Certain pads in terms of production, certain blending techniques. He had a really unique style that I used to call that Drake style. When you're that mirrored or tied to a producer/engineer and someone who has creative vision like 40, that becomes your sound and style. Has he been around? I'm pretty sure. He's going to be doing his thing. But does he do most of that stuff anymore? Okay, yeah, I think I saw. Oh, did I see 40? I thought I saw 40. Where's his name? 40? Where's 40 at? Am I tripping? Usually, wait is no, that's not. Huh? What? Let me look up his last name. Shebib. Okay. Spider-Man contains a sample written by. Oh, but that's only the sample. Did 40 not participate at all? All right, I must be tweaking. Am I tweaking, chat? Yeah, I think that Gordo picture was definitely AI. But chat, on some real shit, was 40 not involved with some sexy song for you? I can't find him on any of the credits here. Noel Cadaster. I think that's the engineer. I'm tripping, right? Boy, Wonder definitely was involved. Yeah, Wonder is going to be in there somewhere. I forgot what Wonder's real name is. But yeah, I know he's in there somewhere. Huh, let me see. Let's go back to 100 gigs. Okay, we see him on blue, green, red. Oh, for all the dogs. Let me see. I'm just looking for 40. Well, he's executive producing all these joints anyway, though, right? Because he usually makes his whole thing usually. Yeah. So he's involved in for all the dogs. Interesting. Definitely her loss. He would be on too. Let me go to her loss, though. Let me see. I don't know. I think I'm just used to 40 being really dominant in crafting the sound. Like, I think Certified Lover Boy, 40 is all over, right? 100%. Pretty much every song. Yeah, 40. Even if he didn't produce the beat, he kind of adds. He adds a Drake flair to everything. Yeah, you see 40's name all over. Even if he's not the main producer, this is Certified Lover Boy. Yeah, we need 40 on this. We need 40 sprinkled in like some type of condiment. Like, yo, he's like pepper, he's like ketchup, he's hot sauce. We need the boy, you feel me? Let me see. Scary Hours 2. Let's look at Not Dark Lane demo tapes. Let's go back to Not Care Package. Let's go back to Scorpion. Okay, Scorpion is going to be right there. I guarantee he's all over Scorpion. Facts, right? Yeah, everything has 40 on it pretty much. 40, boy, wonder. Yeah, 40, boy, wonder. Again, I know Drake is cooking up, but we need more 40. Facts. I'm telling you, 40 is synonymous with the sound of Drake more than any producer for Drake. He would be like, let me see. Give me another artist and give me a producer that matches what you think 40 is for Drake. Future and Metro. But I've seen Future work with some other producers too, and go crazy too. I don't know. Am I tripping though? Yeah. I'm looking at the album Some Sexy Songs for You, and I don't really see much contribution from him. I hope he's doing well. I'm pretty sure he is. And so yeah, while Akademiks is kind of still trying to walk around the issue, and I'm sure he doesn't want Drake to really reveal what's going on and why 40 isn't there to save him right now. You really do notice that something is so clearly off with Drake and everything he's trying to pull off. I can't help but believe that the guy who really did give him the most sonic direction on all of his most iconic projects just not being anywhere near this record. And again, even on SSS for You, the only songs he had any sort of credit on were songs that sampled older Drake records. Well, we're just finding out so much. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I'm going to make this prediction. Iceman is going to be the most catastrophic album in terms of how badly it's going to be received and how much a negative effect it's going to have on the artist who made it in the entire history of hip-hop. I'm going that far. The reason is that with this record and what Drake is trying to do, it's a full circle moment in terms of him learning that there are consequences for every single thing he's done in his career. He's finally going to have to face the mistakes he's made for decades in a fashion like he never has before, even with the feature thing in and of itself. With Drake not wanting to work with artists already, that exposing a weak point in Drake's creative membrane that's being revealed more and more. With this song, and I'm sure with the record, it's really going to be a glaring issue if Drake doubles down on that. People are just going to see that Drake has nothing else to do other than try and make weird songs that are cover versions of what other artists would do if he's impersonating them, or if they're impersonating him. I don't even know. But the point is, nobody wants to hear Drake try to operate as a cover band. And I guess nobody wants to really hear him at all. Clearly. But really, I don't even think his fans would want to hear this weird karaoke version of Drake or whatever other garbage you want to call it. Beyond just the outside collaborators and people who have contributed to the musical canon of Drake's catalog at this point, the other issue now is that within Drake's own inner circle, he's also owning up to all the failures and mistakes he's made as a leader, a friend, and a collaborator to them. I think we're seeing this most prominently right now with whatever is going on between Drake and 40. Now, to give some background for those who don't know, 40 allegedly, according to Pusha T, was a source to help Pusha find out that Drake was hiding a child in Adonis. Pusha told Joe Budden in their ever-iconic interview that 40 ended up telling a girl he was with, who Pusha T also had connections and sources to, about that moment. While they seemed to get over at the time and have had a decent relationship, Drake and 40, in terms of just being seen in public and working together in the earlier part of this decade so far, Who knows how their relationship may have changed now that things have finally settled. And even just the tension from the Pusha T beef and the messiness and the franticness of Drake trying to recover from it. Well, that's all in the past. Maybe just with the perspective everybody has from the situation. This is why Drake and 40 aren't talking now. One just completely lost all trust for the other. I don't know who's really wrong here, but what I do know is that without Drake having 40 and without having his input for these projects, Drake is really struggling right now. At this point, if this is really what Drake is trying to play at 3 a.m. to scare everybody and show that Iceman is coming, this downfall is about to get so much worse. I genuinely don't know where it can go from here, but I definitely do know now that it will get lower. So with all that said, let me know, what do you think about this new Drake snippet? What do you think it's showing for Iceman? Does it raise your expectations for the project by any bit? Or does it make you feel like I do, a lot more worried about the fact that this is going to be the biggest musical catastrophe that we've really seen in years and years in any genre? Now, listen, you made it to this point in the video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, sticking around, and supporting. It really does mean a lot. And if you made it to this point, really make sure to leave a like. It helps me out a ton. Now, listen, if you want to see how, right before this, while I was talking about why this Iceman project really is about to be so bad for Drake, it's because within Drake's personal life, things are really getting bad for him as he's potentially on the verge of bankruptcy. You're not going to want to miss this one. So check out the suggested video.